It says I'm live. Hey everybody, welcome to Zenny62 on a Thursday night. Kentucky and Kansas is wrapping up as I speak, and in fact, what's the score there? If I want to check in on that, I'm going to check on the score there. There was a gigantic protest, a huge protest at Golden One Center, involving Stephen Clark, who was shot by the Sacramento police 20 times. Hey Barry Lee, how you doing? 20 times. 20 times. Absolutely nuts. And gotta wonder, well, I feel almost it's cliche to say gotta wonder how many times this is gonna go on until we, stop this, right? Hey JP from the P, nice to see you. How are you doing? And what are you doing? Well, what was I saying? Dumb question. What are you doing? You're here. You're here. You, like everybody else, you're here. You're here. You're like, hey, what's going on? This was an interesting day to determine the level of trust you have in your government to protect yourself, to protect you from, to protect you if you're black, for example, in the form of police, right? Or to watch your money, or to really get things done, okay? And complete projects for the public good, right? This is a red letter day for all that. It really is. It was like just a red letter day, okay? And it's not only a red letter day. Wow, it's a sad day. A sad day because I watched the Las Vegas Stadium Authority literally bend over for the Oakland Raiders, okay, today. And I'm watching Clark County do that. And for me, it's, as I said earlier this week, it's deja vu all over again to see this. And no one wants to ask questions. I mean, the key example that I point to you, is when Jeremy Arguello said, who is Jeremy Arguello? He is one of the founding partners of Applied Analysis in Las Vegas. He do an economic analysis, and he, through a twist of fate, wound up being, even though he hates when I say this, the point person for the stadium project. Hey, how you doing, John? Anyway, he read off the debt document, which is the document that says, hey, we believe that the stadium tax is going to bring in enough money, okay? And read it chapter and verse. And then he said that they said that they would have to, by 2019, the monies would have to grow by 1.8% to reach a $50.1 million amount, which is the monthly payment plus the debt coverage ratio, right? Now get this, that's for a $750 million bond issue at 30 years. And when I ran that at the market rate, you know what I got? I got 58 million. I didn't get 50.1 million. And I'm getting that kind of gap. It means that I can go lower and not hit 50.1 million. So the question I have is, what interest rate do you think you're going to get on the market that would give you that 50.1 million? But here's the even bigger problem for me, okay? Jeremy got on camera and basically committed himself to this revenue stream that will increase at least 1.8% per year, maybe greater, maybe 8%. And I'm thinking, you are not saying this. And the reason why I'm saying that is, as I told someone else, I said, you know what? The Raiders are going to hold them to that. And if it doesn't happen, the Raiders could sue them. And I said, the reason why I stress that is that they did that to the city of Oakland and the county of Alameda. They said to us, hey, you promised us PSL sales. We didn't get them. We're suing you. We don't care. You say it's partly our fault. Heck with you. We're suing you. Because they're like that. So I watched the stadium authority there that struggled to gain a quorum, basically fail to ask any questions. Nothing, Ken Evans and Tommy White are good people, but they're not folks who really can ask. And, the other people on the phone, Bill Hornbuckle, he's on the phone, he's doing something else, right? So it was sad. This was the day that the Las Vegas and Clark County taxpayer really just quite literally got, and they have no idea, used. And March 28th is going to be the day of when all these documents are signed. And when the documents are signed, it's going to be, well, hey, Raiders get their checks, clock starts ticking, and all the problems will start. This stadium is okay, let's figure this out, all right? Forget the guaranteed maximum price. That's going up. That's $1 billion, I keep saying three, $1,398 million, right? Let's start with that, okay? And here's the thing. $1,098 million, all right? That's the $1,398 million is the guaranteed maximum price, okay? And then the stadium budget, the development cost total is pegged at $1.8 billion right now. But that money doesn't include parking, which I have said is going to cost upwards of maybe $195 million. It's not going to include the pedestrian bridge that's talked about. There's no itemization for that. It doesn't include the relocation fee. So look, let's make it really easy. 1.8 billion, parking's at 200 million, so that's boom, 2 billion right there. Then you're talking about pedestrian bridge, it's another 30 million. So that's 2 billion, 30 million. And then you're talking about the relocation fee, that's 370 million. That's the Raiders' problem. Then you're talking about the drainage calculations, the drainage. That's going to be another 100 million. So you're looking at, these are set right now without any change orders. So already you're looking at, let's lop off the relocation fee, okay? Awful, all right? Barry Lee said, I just saw a YouTube video from local Vegas news station that said the Raiders project was going to be $2 billion, and of course no local station mentions a potential lawsuit. Right, because it hasn't hit, because the city and the county of Alameda, the city of Oakland and Alameda County has done nothing. And yeah, the Raiders did not operate with good faith with us, but we have enough inaction currently to warrant our position as criminal too, because this is nuts. And the taxpayer sits there. You have people that are working sometimes 3 jobs. They've got their basic job maybe at a retail store, or maybe they're working online or something like that. Then they're driving a Lyft car or Uber, or maybe they're working security, all that stuff, all the whole enchilada stuff. And they've got a baby, 2 babies maybe, and they're married, all right? That's tough. And so they're counting on basic government services to be there in Las Vegas. Great funded education, it's not there. And you have politicians quite literally either cheerleading for this thing or by doing nothing cheerleading for it, okay? And Patrick and Blackman asked, are Vegas people that starved for football? It's not so much that they're that starved for football, it's more sinister than that. A lot of people don't have any, they have this feeling there's nothing they can do about it, and it's not for them. There's a percentage, the majority feel that way. Because remember, there was no vote for this, okay? This was all done by Sheldon Adelson and his lobbyists, and there was no vote for it at all. It was just pushed through. And just like our deal, there was no vote for our deal. But see, the difference, there's a vast difference between Raiders Deal 1 and Raiders Deal 2. 1995 and 2018. Well, really 2016. The difference is that we were a city fighting to get back what we thought was our soul. And so there were any number of people cheering on for this to happen. I mean, it's quite literally a city that was involved. I mean, you had people who went, like, for example, my optometrist, Dr. Howard Rose, had his seats in section 209. And I saw him at the Raider games. I was in the 70s. We had all those stories like that. This is not that. You have the majority of people in Las Vegas who wear, if they do wear an NFL shirt, it's for another team. It's not the Raiders. And that's by a factor of, I would say 30 to, oh yeah, I would say about 20 to 1. In other words, you can go through Las Vegas, see 20 different NFL team jerseys before you see the Raiders. Okay? Now, will that change when the Raiders are there? Maybe. Maybe. But given the way Vegas is, I doubt it changes that much. So, it's sad all the way around. It's uncharted territory, and so Grillo quite literally drags Clark County into this by pledging a revenue stream from stadium taxes that if they don't make, they will get sued. Straight up. You do not rest your future on something so iffy as a hotel tax that already, if you take a look at the calculations, up to now, if February was at 3 million, then the overall rate of growth over the last year alone was negative 0.8%. Negative, okay? That's below 1.8%. Now, how do you get to 1.8%? If February turns out to be better, if it turns out to clock in at 4.7%, then you could say it's 1.96%. But think about that. 1.96% growth is only, 14 100ths of a percent off the hurdle rate that they need. And now Jeremy would say, well, that's due to 1 October, but the decline in the rate of growth of the numbers started in June of last year. And so what if it gets worse? That's bad. And not only that, here's what's even worse than that, what I just told you. He said they have to get to 15.1 million. They need 58 million. He's $8 million off. $8 million. Wow. Okay? As Joe Santos just typed, super sad situation. G. Taylor says, I feel for the taxpayers in Vegas, but welcome to America. Well, why? G. Taylor says, interest rates are rising. And thank you. Okay? When they first planned this, interest rates are at what? They weren't even at 2% 2 years ago. Now they're double that. And do you know what happened over the past week? The tariffs, right? Before Donald Trump opened his trap and said we're going to do tariffs, the rate was already going up. It was at 3.15%. Then after he did that, it went up to 3.25%. Now, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the bond interest rates, that the higher they go, the higher the debt service, the more money that the rate needs to throw off in order to pay that bond issue. So here Jeremy comes, quite literally dragging Clark County into a potential lawsuit. I watched this and I was like, really? G. Taylor says the backstop will be a nightmare. Yeah, it will. John Santos says trade war and higher interest rates are going to hurt the deal. Hey, anybody watching this in Southern California, if you're going to be at Comic-Con, at WonderCon, send me an email, zenny@zenny62.com, because I'm not going to be there. I want you to just check some things out for me, that's all. Momentary aside, I love WonderCon, I'm going to miss it. But the backstop, this is horrible. Barry Lee says, I think A new governor of Nevada will question the raiders' intentions by asking about the PSLs and the high cost of tickets. Yeah, but by then, Barry, it'll be too late. Because a new governor won't be in place until November. And the people running for governor right now are just looking the other way. That just have to straight out say that's what it is. They're looking, at least that's how it looks right now. Okay. Joe Santos says the news today said interest rates are being raised another 4 times this year. Holy, what's that? Holy potatoes? Is that what it is? Wait a minute. Thank you for that tip, John Santos, because, I guess I got to do some stuff. All right. Really. Bond interest rates. We see bond interest rate forecast. Interest rate forecast. I just write both that. Interest rate forecast, Kiplinger. Bonds to edge higher in 2018. That was January of this year. Let's see here. Let me see what the interest rate forecast is according to Kiplinger. Bigger deficits yield higher interest rates. And right now, 30-year, no, do you know what that's a home rate? Excuse me, let's see what it is for a muni. Home rate, it's higher. Muni bond. Let's say muni bond interest rate. Municipal bonds purchase, municipal bond outlook, the outlook for muni bonds, municipal bond fixed income outlook. What should I? Bond market. Municipal bond monthly. Let's see what Morgan Stanley says, because that's dated March 14th of this year, right? It's just a few days ago. Last week, right? Let's see here. Rain or shine. Seasons change. Volatility, subsidies. This, let me zoom in here, all right? Okay. Coupon structure, all right. This is something. I think I'll call this person later. Bid more items. Oh, AAA 30-day. AAA 30-day is at, the AAA 30-day is at, yikes. Bid one, that's the green. The green is 3.25%. Yeah, so I got it right, 3.25%. But it's not due to come down at all. And this is Morgan Stanley I'm reading. Now you would say, why am I going through all this? This is the lifeblood of money for a stadium. This is the heart of it. How much are you going to have to pay for money? This is the cost of the dollar. All right? And by the way, I was officially told that the Clark County bond will be AA rated. I was right. Excuse me. Take that, Rich Vallota. Take that, those guys who seem to be dying to prove that I'm wrong about this or that, whatever. And then when I'm not wrong, they never say, hey, you were right. Right? Okay? They have this illusion of, oh, you're always wrong. You're always wrong. Wah. Come on, folks. Knock it off. I'm having fun. But yeah, all this is bad stuff, man. I'm going to get to your comments here. Bradley said, do we know when the St. Louis suit heads to court? No, I don't know that. Let me check on that right now. Patrick M. Blackman writes, I could have sworn Sheldon Adelson said Vegas not getting the Raiders wouldn't make a difference to him. He did say that. In Joseph Binsman, how are you? Joseph Binsman says, hey, you sound a lot better tonight, Zenny. Glad to hear that. Thank you. And Crawford says the deal will die. It's too expensive. This thing it's really, yeah. I wonder if the normally silent on this Nevada Independent has written anything about it, because I've noticed that that John Ralston has seemingly stayed away from this thing. He hasn't mentioned anything about it. And I thought maybe he didn't want to piss off his, politically rich donor base, right? Somebody, somebody there is not wanting to do that. So here's the Nevada Independent. Um, Front page has nothing to do with the Raider thing. Then Cortez Mastro and former Assemblywoman drops out of race for Congress. Nothing. State water ruling sparks fear and misinformation and not. So if you want some clue as to how wired politically this is, the fact that John Ralston's not focusing on the stadium deal should give you a clue. I mean, seriously. I mean, they have taken a position to just simply just hands off. We're not going to criticize it because their donor base is, look, they've got Steve Sisolak, among others. He has a huge donor base of very involved Nevadans. Aha. I mean, huge. All right. So the taxpayers in Nevada, they have no protection. They got nobody watching out for them. I mean, nobody. Dan Schwartz was supposed to show up at the meeting. He didn't show up. I texted him, hey, thought you were going to come. What happened? Radio silence. G. Taylor says, Adelson can snap fingers and this deal would die. Yeah. Hey, John Marks, how you do? Crawford says, Patrick, Sheldon may have another trick up his sleeve. That's interesting, Crawford, because I'm told, I can't say by who, they swear up and down that Mr. Adelson, is out of the deal, all right? But Crawford is right, and he points out in the typing here, Adelson is still the wild card in this. Oh, yeah, definitely. John Marks said, Dan Schwartz might as well be invisible. Yeah, he wasn't there. I thought it was interesting that the first hour, it took them an hour to get a quorum. And that's when I think someone was, maybe it was you, Crawford, who wrote in the comments, Sheldon Adelson. Maybe he was paying him off. Here. Oh, yeah, here's $1 million. Don't show up. All right. Pretty funny. But I will say, having said all that, I'll say this. That stadium is doggone beautiful. It really is. And in terms of its design and the layout, even the number of elevators as Don Webb described in his presentation. Primo stuff, I mean, if this revenue problem gets worked out, which I doubt, but the sponsors have to step up to the plate. I don't see that right now. And I get the impression the Raiders are quite literally building this on the come. I really do. I think everyone is seeing how far the Raiders can get before they climb on board, assuming, of course, they're able to climb on board. And that's a dangerous place to be in. It really is. It really is. John Marks says, remember the Cordon Bleu Hotel? No, I don't. Fill me in, John Marks. What is that about? Should I copy, paste, and put that in Google? Cordon Bleu Hotel? I think I know what you're talking about. Albert says the Las Vegas Mafia is running the show, but who? Who is that defined by? See, when someone says that, it used to be that you knew who the Mafia was. All right? Crawford says the Raiders have to pay up, and that's a dangerous element. Patrick and Blackman writes, I find it weird that Sheldon Adelson didn't like Mark Davis because of his tactics, but would welcome the Raiders. Owned by Mark Davis, which we forgot to add, yeah. And John Mark says, or the hotel is supposed to be built. Let me copy paste that. Something else too. Mark Arnold, the great council consultant for the Stadium Authority, said basically that the Raiders, there's a covenant, there's a provision in the lease that allows the Raiders to pursue the path of privately financing the stadium. He said that. I have that on video. I'm going to break it out later. He said that, all right? I'm not seeing that mentioned here, John Marks. Anyway, Oh, and you're talking about, I don't think it's called Cordon Bleu, but it was supposed to be built at City Center and it sunk on its foundation. Right. Uh, but coming back to Patrick and Blackman's statement, and where's Henry Flores when you need him? Henry, I will get your division to you. Wow, the numbers here are mounting up tonight. Welcome to Zenny 62, everybody. For Thursday night, I guess that means who won, Kansas or Kentucky? Let me check. Um, because Elite Eight is Kansas State. Looks like Kansas State won, right? In Atlanta here. Let's see here. Elite 80, baby. Way to go, Seminoles. Ooh. Oh, man. How about that? Oh, man. How about that? So it's breaking. Lower seeded teams in ESPN's garbage reseeding are 4-0. Congratulations in advance to Western Virginia, Syracuse, Kansas, and Purdue for advancing to the Elite Eight tomorrow. Wow. I'm reading the tweets here. Hopefully Kansas won't be crying tomorrow night because that would be a big blow if Kansas loses to Clemson in tomorrow night's Sweet 16 in Omaha. And Bill Self must avoid another bad game or no Elite Eight. Wow. Wow. I mean, or this Anthony Cloud tweets this. He says, everyone likes a good upset here and there. But 3 of the 4 teams that have advanced to the Elite Eight are 9 seeds or lower. This has definitely been an interesting year in college basketball. That sounds like it's going to lead to lower rating. Maybe. Okay. In fact, I've never seen a situation like this before, where you have all these lower seeded teams just beating the heck out of the better ones. Smaller schools mean smaller alumni. Smaller alumni means smaller viewership. Da-da-da-da-da. Theoretically, all right? And Crawford informs us that Charles Barkley, the great one who lives around here in Atlanta somewhere, I believe, went 0-4 today in picks. Crawford also says Kansas State versus the old lady on Saturday. Ooh. Lonely on Top says Vegas should just leave the Raiders alone. They're doing too much. It's, like I said, it's criminal. It's bad. It really is. And I don't mean to insult anybody who's involved in it. I like the people who are involved. I've come to really like the people who are involved, the people I've met, okay? Stephen Hill, Jackie, the county finance officer, excuse me, Jessica Colvin was kind enough to call me and text, and, you know, because I basically have taken on the role of Chicken Little. Whoa, the sky is falling. And, you know, very much like Chicken Little, well, with a difference, I'm neither chicken nor little. People tend to basically not believe Chicken Little, and then all of a sudden turn around and say, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Ah! Because the things that Chicken Little were talking about affected your life, right? I mean, I'm not talking about something as harmless as, you know, who makes the best deep dish pizza and whether or not I'm right or wrong. These affect our lives. You know, this issue affects our lives, even indirectly. Now, as far as the deadline, let me tell you something else that was really dastardly that the Raiders did. Folks, whenever the consummate their move to Las Vegas, the Davis family will no longer own the Raiders. It will be owned by a holding company. Now, that's right, a holding company. Now, what does that mean? It means a lot. It means it's going to be harder to sue the Davis family if you are Oakland. At least that's what it sounds like to me. I need to get some legal eagles to help me sort that one out. But as a guy who came that close to going to Bolt Law School, who sat on the great Stephen Sugarman's tort class and read his book, still have his book actually, and who knows how to shepherdize cases and can be a very good paralegal if I set my mind in that direction, I will tell you that it's the situation that's set up right now is like this. The non-relocation agreement that was drafted specifically mentions Mark Davis as the controlling owner. It has it in his name, right? And it says Mark Davis or whoever he passes control on to as a person. But it says nothing about a company, about the Raiders giving up full control to a company. And that's what was done. Okay? The Raiders gave up full control to another company. And so the Raiders could turn around and say, all right, holding company is there, and then whenever we feel like it, maybe we'll gain control back from the holding company, right? Or the holding company could separately make a decision. Because the holding company is not mentioned in the non-relocation agreement, the holding company can do whatever the heck it wants. Because it's not addressed in any other place. That's wild. Joseph Benson says, I'm good, Zenny, hoping to attend the March of Our Lives march in D.C. Saturday. Wow. Sad to say bye to my Giants, Jason Pierre-Paul, today, but necessary. He had a lot of good Giants years. The NFL draft will be fun. Well, I got to ask you, Joseph, what do you think? How do you think he'll do with the Bucs? And I got to say, I met Jason Pierre-Paul and interviewed him. The interview is right here at Zenny62 because I was a guest at a party he and Kate Upton, who I also met through, in New York at Spin Nightclub 2011. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Quite enjoyed it. Crawford says if the Panthers are worth $2.4 billion, we're saying 2.5. I say 3. The Raiders could be worth double with a sale. Yeah. And Barry says I have a link to the article. Post? Oh, you do? Okay. Did you put it on Twitter, Barry? John Mark says Kings beat Hawks in near empty arena. Yeah, because of a protest that had to do with that shooting. 32 Assassin writes, is the NFL going to continue to be silent and shift the blame to the Raiders? I suppose they only act when the bottom line hurts. Yeah, for the NFL, it's too early to tell, and it looks like the NFL is quite willing to let the Raiders literally eke out a path on this thing. Get, little by little, build this, and this, right? Over time. Dangerous. John Mark says, the Raiders are a problem, not Vegas. Barry Lee says, I also read that St. Louis, this is the article you're going to link. St. Louis contends that the NFL didn't follow their own relocation rules, and the NFL tried to get it thrown out of court, but the court favored St. Louis. Yeah, that's right. And that's where it is. I think it comes to trial. Does that mention that? Let me do a search here. Excuse me. St. Louis, NFL. But that lawsuit, that meeting today, well, that was hilarious. It was hilarious. Okay. Stormy Daniels' lawyer, fast cars, NFL court fights, and all right, fine. Is he handling? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Is the guy that is Stormy Daniels' lawyer also the guy representing St. Louis against the NFL? Ooh. Hold on a second. It might very well be. Listen to this. This was written March 20th. Hold on a second. It takes some metal to represent a porn actress who's suing a sitting president, especially this president, given his litigious and indifference to the norms that constrained his predecessors. Says Michael Avenatti, the attorney representing Stephanie Clifford, better known as Stormy Daniels, okay? This is some sort of, this is a guy who also races cars. And interesting. He races cars, has a picture of him doing that. And he drives in a 24-hour Le Mans. He has a fascination with sports cars. Okay, and so he's got, and he said he deposed Roger Goodell because that whole seat. In fact, my friend Stewie was the late Stewie, rest in peace, was impacted by that seat fiasco. Um, so he tells a story. He says that he deposed Goodell and cross-examined Jerry Jones in court. He's still proud of the judge's order he got compelling Jones's testimony, and he's prouder still of his combative exchanges with Jones on the stand. When Mr. Jones came off the stand and walked by counsel table on his way out of the courtroom, he was staring at me in a way that no one has stared at me before, Avenatti said. My co-counsel, a former federal prosecutor, leaned over me and said, I've never seen a human being look at another human being with such hatred in their eyes. What do you say to him? He said, I wear that as a badge of honor. The jury awarded his client $76,000 in damages. 2 days after Jones's testimony, he now has another case going against the NFL. This one pertains to the canceled Hall of Fame game in 2016. He writes this. He says this is Avenatti. He says, the NFL is due for a reckoning. Nothing lasts forever, and hubris catches up to you. I asked him if anyone else had in mind what he said. He said perhaps. That's interesting. I just happened to run across that about Avenatti, right? Okay, so but nothing new here. We've got judge rules against Rams fans and dispute over season tickets. Okay, that's a different lawsuit. And he was basically saying that that's a different one. Now we know about the other one. So we've got Ohio Attorney General suing Anthony Precourt, Major League. The city of St. Louis. Yeah, there's nothing new. Okay, there's nothing new right now in this lawsuit that's making Google news. Okay, there's nothing new that's making Google news. All right. And as of 24th of January, it says appeals court Rams lawsuit still headed to trial. And this other one that was late, okay? So nothing here you don't already know about, all right? Now let me read the rest of your comments. Okay, so we've got Barry Lee says to Crawford, if the St. Louis case favors them and not the NFL, the Raiders, then Vegas are in a lot of trouble if someone like Oakland or Forever Oakland files a lawsuit. Patrick M. Blackman says, I wouldn't be surprised to see Mark Davis give control of ownership. Well, technically, he already has. According to what happened today, a holding company will own the Raiders once these lease documents are signed and the stadium is complete. A holding company will own the Raiders, not the Davis family, all right? And that opens up a lot of questions. Like, for example, if the Davis family no longer directly owns the Raiders, can the city of Oakland, the county of Alameda, sue them for damages? What would they claim? All right, if they would they? I mean, I would imagine by intent, you can't just give something up to a holding company and say, the holding company owns it now, and you can't touch us. That's interesting. Okay, the Raiders have opened up a situation that makes it look like the Davis family is almost unsuable. Okay, that's what it looks like. Black Lion says, "Say what?" Yeah, I'm saying that. Holdco. Holdco is what it's called. Holdco. Now, let me type something. Let me type non-relocation location agreement Raiders. Okay. And non-relocation agreement by and between Clark County. Final development agreement is different. Let's just do PDFs and see what we come up with. PDFs, see if there's more than one listing. Let's see here. All right, non-relocation agreement by and between Clark County, right? And I'm going to save some time here and just go to find, and I'm going to type Mark. And here, notwithstanding the foregoing, the contrary, as long as Mark Davis is directly or indirectly the controlling person of TeamCo, see, let's hear that, TeamCo, the authority and any other beneficiary of this non-relocation agreement, that they must first seek and therefore prosecute to a final and non-appellable judgment, injunctive or declaratory relief pursuant to Section 4.3 thereof, including specific performance for a specified relation default prior to instituting a suit or otherwise seeking to obtain liquidated damages in the event that the remedy of injunctive relief pursuant to Section 4.3c hereof of this document, including specific performance, is not granted by a court of competent jurisdiction, then the authority and any expressed beneficiaries hereof, like Holdco, shall have the right, no, the authority or anybody else, not Holdco, shall have the right to pursue any and all the remedies available under this non-relocation agreement, including any and all remedies available at law or in equity. I have to write Mark Arnold about this. B, TeamCo waives any right it may have to object or to raise a defense to any actual or requested award. Interesting. See, this deals with TeamCo. It doesn't deal with Holdco. And meanwhile, Mark Davis is mentioned there. It says controlling person. Mark Davis or persons controlled by Mark Davis is, are, or directly or indirectly the controlling person of TeamCo. Holdco is not mentioned here. Holdco is not mentioned here. Okay? And one elected official, I'm not going to say who asked me, do you think we should make an issue of this? Well, duh. I mean, they're not going to. They don't care. They really don't care. All right? So something's fishy about this whole thing. Okay? Corey Brown, how you doing? Corey says, does the NFL have say-so in the Davis family giving up control and who it goes to? Yeah, the NFL does have say, and that's a very good question. I'll have to follow up on that. Hello. Welcome to Zenny62 tonight. Thank you. G. Taylor says, how does this affect the other owners of the Raiders? That is another great question. Barry Lee says, Zenny, I think even the holding company could be sued because they assumed all debt and responsibilities just like with any other buyout, wouldn't it? Yeah, it would. Because now I think of Chevron. You're right, Barry Lee. Because now I think of Chevron in the case of Chevron Ecuador, assuming all the responsibilities that Texaco had because it bought Texaco. But I need to check that. Because for me, if I'm drafting these documents and someone says to me that another document was changed and introduced a whole new entity called Holdco, I want this other document, this non-relocation agreement, to reflect Holdco too. And so the question has to be asked, where does Holdco fit in? Because this mentions controlling persons. And it mentions controlling person with respect to TeamCo, that's the Raiders. It doesn't mention Holdco. So it's always a good idea to have this spelled out in the agreement. You don't want to have the situation we have in Oakland with this non-recourse loan that's really a payment that is accrued interest and is now over triple its original value. Okay, that's sloppy. You don't want to have that kind of sloppy legal work hanging out there on you. G. Taylor says, I spell a Ponzi scheme. Yeah. John Mark says, doesn't the NFL have to approve the transfer of ownership? Yes. Pride and Purpose says, makes me wonder if Adelson's son is lingering around. Don't know. And there was a mention at the Stadium Authority meeting that the Raiders don't have all their ducks in a row. And so they may not be ready by March 28th to consummate all these, documents. Okay. So, I mean, I have to say, though, as a guy who's trained to be a builder, planner, that thing's exciting. Welcome to Zenny 62, by the way. It really is, you know? And it really is tearfully sad that we have a city of Oakland that has not built a convention center, that has not built a large-scale event center, that has not built a meaningful infrastructure project in a long, long time, that took 20 years to get off the ground, the work of rehabilitating its own Lake Merritt. We have a government that has taken the term lacking the will and the initiative to complete big projects to a level seldom seen in any city of its size or larger. Um, just has to be said. We have a library that's old, moribund. I remember when we talked about building a new police administrative building, we never did that. We're lazy. We're just lazy. And our laziness costs us in organizations. And I don't like the way the Warriors went about what they did. They're going to be hauled into court. You and I certainly don't like what the Raiders are doing. They're going to be hauled into court, one hopes. But because of, it's just justice, right? But none of that eliminates the fact that Oakland's economic development effort has been, and you can only describe this word, lazy. Lazy. Okay? So, I mean, there are no saints here, and I don't harbor any illusions. What I've rested on about this deal is, from the start, would anyone be stupid enough to do that? Would you be stupid enough to throw your head around that fiscal noose? Friends, you know that saying, friends don't let friends drive drunk, right? Friends don't let friends spend money they don't have on stadiums that are worth $2 billion. So for those of you out there who kept saying, oh, Zenny, you said this is never going to happen. I didn't think anybody would be so stupid as to A, want to do this deal, or B, want to force it on somebody else. All right? And so for those of you who watch me continuously, remember when I said 3 days before, and I said, someone said, what are you going to do when you find out the vote? And I said, I'm just going to laugh because I know it's a bad deal. And it's hilarious to watch people quite literally do cartwheels and try to make this deal look like it makes sense. If it's not Jeremy Aguilera doing cartwheels talking about how he thinks the Las Vegas revenue is going to go up and up and up and up, that famous chart that increased like this, like 8% each year. All right. Again, the voice of sanity was then and continues to be the mayor of Las Vegas, Carolyn Goodman. Crawford says this deal can still fall apart. To me, the more the deal goes, the more expensive it becomes, the more likely something wrong is going to happen somewhere. Black Lion Supreme says, how can you move a team just to sell it? No way. Well, easy. Whoa. Black Lion. Whoa. Black Lion asks, how can you move a team just to sell it? Well, it's like this. You move the team, build a new stadium, and then you dump the team for what? At this point, the way the Carolina Panthers are going, the Raiders could arguably fetch $4 billion. Okay? So that's what they're staring at. All right? Yeah, $4 billion. Now, would they be worth the same money in Oakland? They'd be worth more. Worth $5 billion. Heck. Because it's the Bay Area. Can you imagine the Raiders teaming with Apple Computer to build a stadium? I've said that before. That thing would catapult the Raiders' value to $6 billion. Right there, okay? And you may be watching this and saying, why am I coming up with this crazy number? Well, think about it this way, all right? Standard rule of thumb for estimating the valuation of any sports team is to take its gross revenue and multiply that times 4. So from that perspective, the Carolina Panthers at gross revenue of $385 million in 2016 should only be worth just north of 1.5 billion. Instead, we're talking about 2.5 billion and going up. That extra billion is what I call the NFL premium. With the stadium they have. Take that NFL premium, tack on a new stadium for the Raiders in Las Vegas, it goes up more. Tack on that NFL premium for a new stadium in Oakland, and it goes up even more because the Bay Area is more expensive. The Bay Area is a bigger market. Team them with Apple Computer, you're staring at a $2 billion premium. There. That's how it breaks down. Barry Lee, he says, it's like a person who flips a horse. They go in to rebuild it and raise its value, like the Raiders build a new stadium and team value goes up. Yeah. John Davis says, Panthers bidding war is over $2.5 billion. Yep. Would the Raiders make more or less erupt for bid? Right now, more. John Mark says, I think Mark Davis needs to be... I'm not going to repeat that, John. Folks, please refrain from the trolling comments like that. They're insulting. I mean, if you want to say, someone needs to go into jail, and you have a legal reason for that, like I do, or sued, say so. I have said jail because you have people who are in positions of power who should know better, who are suggesting that deal behaves in a way in terms of capturing hotel tax revenue dollars that they're willing to commit their signature to on paper and could be accused of fraud, showing numbers that, in point of fact, are not likely to come to pass. I'm not saying that they're doing it. I'm saying they could be accused of it because I've seen it happen. I saw it happen in Oakland a number of times, okay? So, no one wants to wish that on anybody. Hold on a second. I'm just putting putting the cord in here to power up, all right? There it goes, all right? So, getting your comments. Crawford wrote, Crawford wrote, the Raiders in their brand and popularity will be the highest value team in the United States if they want to stay in the Bay Area. Yes. Hey, Steve Macy, how are you? Patrick and Blackman writes, I guess politicians want San Francisco to represent the Bay Area in all phases of society. Yeah. Yeah, that's the way it seems, and I get the impression sometimes Libby's trying to push Oakland that way. Just saying. Barry Lee says, Steve Macy, dilly dilly. Steve Macy says, what a crazy night in Sacramento. Oh, gosh. Wow. 32 Assassin writes, and asks, what would the PSL and ticket prices look like in a new stadium in Oakland? Just as nightmarish as what you Las Vegas is proposing? No. In fact, Crawford, because I cost this out. When I developed my spreadsheet, I went over with Piper Jaffray investment bankers. Do you know what the average cost of our PSL was? Do you know? 32 Assassin, do you know? Hey, James Matthews. How you doing? 32 Assassin, you know the answer. Hello, 32 Assassin, I'm asking you a question. Do you know what the average PSL cost for the stadium I proposed for the Raiders was? Steve Macy says $5,007. No, 32 Assassin not recently. It was only $2,000. Actually, it was like a shade less than that, and that was deliberate. I went in. The reason why I used a hotel had nothing to do with some novelty. It was what happened was that I had two objectives I was presented with. Excuse me. The mayor of Oakland specifically said no public money. This was after Mark Davis had said to me, "Come up with a stadium plan." He said that in front of Mike Silver at the NFL Network on May 17th of 2015 at the NFL owners meeting at the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco at about 2:40 in the afternoon. At any rate, the reason why I went back and I said, okay, he said that, she said no public money. Mark Davis, on the other hand, did not want to do a renovation. He wanted a brand new stadium. So I'm thinking, how do I square this circle? How do I do it with a team that's not known for having deep pockets, right? And so I accidentally, yet serendipitously, found a development project example that became the model. Cleveland Economic Development Corporation was spearheading a project that should be completed now that involved the downtown hotel and convention center, but unique where, okay, the city has said, hey, look, we're not in the hotel business. Okay, we're not in the hotel business. So what it did was it brought in a hotel brand, I believe it was Marriott, to be the marketing face, and the consultant. So basically, the city is willing to build the hotel to suit, in a sense, for the Marriott. And then in turn, it's also building a convention center. Now, the way they financed that in part was to take the net operating income from the hotel and use that as part of the bond issue. Now, you would say, how does that work? It's the gross revenue of the hotel minus the gross expenses. That's the net operating income. You take a percentage of that. Now, get this, folks. If you're in a city that allows a 40-year bond deal, Las Vegas doesn't, if it allows a 40-year bond deal, like Cleveland, you're sitting pretty. And so, see, the great thing about Oakland is we have the same advantage. In fact, we had a 99-year deal. We could do 99 years. All right? Which means the per year cost is really, really teensy small. So, all right, so here's the thing. What I did was I was able to, under that model, park a hotel, and the question was, how big does a hotel have to be to fill in that $400 million gap that the city of Oakland and Mayor Libby Schaaf said she didn't want to cover, and Mark Davis said he needed. Hence, using 47% of the hotel's net operating income over a 40-year period. Now think about it. The beauty of it is I only have a one-time payment. The hotel is clocking in at $117 million. So whoop, I pay that, right? That's my cost. And once that cost is paid, the hotel does what? It exists and it runs. So I can take 45% of that revenue and use it for the project, including the hotel and the stadium. So get this. The hotel is only $117 million. I need $336 million. So I'm getting between that and I was able to sneak out some $117 million in tax abatements. All right, between those two, I was fine. Yeah, just $117 million in tax abatements. That's it. Okay, I was fine. Oh, and then I was able to throw in. And see, one thing I didn't throw in at that time, okay? Well, yes, I did. Net operating income from other offices. Total square footage was like 300,000 square feet, something like that, all right? All total, I was able to walk to Mark Davis, which I did at the Schaumburg NFL owners meeting in 2015 when we're talking Carson, right? And that was August 18th. And I said, this is the first words out of my mouth to Mark Davis. I said, Mr. Davis, I have $2 billion for you. I was able to carve out a $2 billion cash flow for the Raiders over the life of the project, strictly for the Raiders. If you can't do something with that, there's something wrong with you. He looked at me and says, okay. And Mr. Davis is going on the elevator, and the thing about it is, I would love to rewound that moment, because if I could have, I would have just got on the elevator with him, but I didn't want to be perceived as trying to invade his privacy, right? Because he didn't say, come on up, let's come in the room, let's talk, right? So there I was, but he didn't say no either, okay? I didn't want to bother him, because I was coming to him. I didn't, I'm there, but I'm doing something he asked me to do. He asked me to do that. So I am, to this day, as I tell you right now, very proud of what I've done. People make fun of the stick figure I drew, but hey, look, for everybody who's looked at the spreadsheet, who knows how to read these things, unlike some people in the media, we're like, yes, okay? All right? John Marks asks, why didn't he take it? That's a good question. I think, why didn't he take it? I think the reason he didn't take it in retrospect had to do with the fact that he, and now we know this, was involved in Las Vegas already. In fact, I remember, and I completely remember that. I 1000% remember, in fact, that I 1000% remember that I ran into Eric Grubman at Oakland Airport. Grubman. And I said to Eric, and before I get a word out edgewise, because he said, they're not going to use your ideas, Ziddy. I said, I know. But the Raiders had never given me a sit down. But I knew something else was up, but I didn't know it was. How could I at the time? Let me put things in their proper perspective. It was 2015. Carson was on the horizon. No one knew about the Raiders flirting with Vegas except the Raiders. And the Carson situation wasn't settled until, January 16th of 2016. So there you go. Who knew? All right. Which is another problem. John Marks said, I would have said, I got a blank check for you. Black Lion says, if they stay or go, I will never forgive all parties involved in this. Well, you can forgive me. I tried, okay? And I have the plan out there, and I've got the website right now to show what I did. And it's going to stay up there forever. I'm never taking it down because it's a model for stadium financing that has not been tried but works. Piper Jaffray looked at it and they blessed it. It works. Okay. Eric Bailey asked, does he still have $2 billion if he wants it? He doesn't have, John Marks, this stadium is not going to give him that. All right? It's not going to give him that money free and clear. Someone watching this would say, wait a minute, they're going to make $200 million a year off the stadium. That's gross. The Raiders don't get all of that. Most of that goes to stadium event producers. The stadium itself only retains 11% of that. And the Raiders get no money from any ancillary development around the stadium. Nothing. The Raiders are stuck to the stadium. By contrast, and this is true with my plan, it was also true with Forest City, the Fortress plan. The Raiders would enjoy a percentage of the net operating income for every structure in Coliseum City. That's not bad. The trouble is that, unlike me, Fortress did not carve out exactly what the Raiders are going to make from that. And the problem with Fortress is they were too loosey-goosey. They were too willing to say, we can do you a loan. We can do a loan for you like Vegas. We can do this. We can do that. No. Forget that. Just do a plan, sell the financial instrument, stick with it. That's where Fortress went wrong. Piper Jaffray would not have done that. Because Fortress wound up looking like this. I got a deal. I got to do something here. You see, I got some galoshes here, right here for you. I got right here. I got a special pin right here for you. Oh, and then by the way, I got a special flying pin here. You unclick it and it becomes an airplane. Right? That was Fortress. Design a fiscal plan and sell the plan. They didn't do that. And so at the end of the day, they quite literally looked like they were just flailing in the wind. We'll do this. And I remember saying to Drew McKnight, hey, you shouldn't do that. He says, well, Eric Grubman told me to do it. I said, I don't care that Eric told you to do it. Have an idea, have a backbone, and stick to it. Don't tell me that Eric led you by the nose. Oh, jeez Louise. John Mark says, is Fortress still in play if they want to be? Steve LeBoux says, Davis intentionally violated the NFL relocation guidelines, unquestionably, and lied about it, which would be easy to prove in court. Yeah, if we got there. But you've got some, okay, we've got there. So, if you wanted to. But, okay. Steve Mace says, 1.8 billion is a stadium only, correct? Nothing else? Oh, no. This is how it goes, Steve, all right? Because once again, you're about to play that whole review journal BS. Here is the gospel. Right here. Because you had the writers for the Review Journal and for the Las Vegas Sun tell me that I'm wrong, and I'm showing them the documents, and I'm making videos showing them where the documents are located as they're tweeting that I'm wrong, and I've done this. And not only that, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Me, work with the NFL, call potential builders like Biggie Crane and everything to get estimates for our expansion of the Coliseum so they could host the 2005 Super Bowl. I did that in 2000. That's just one example. So I've been on that side, okay? Where you go around, you call contractors, you check bids for steel and transportation, and you do all these little minutiae that become a freaking headache. And I'm one person doing it. The Raiders have a whole freaking team of people. I'm one person. So, anyway. You've got 1.8 billion is a stadium development budget, but it doesn't include parking. It doesn't include the training camp. There are other costs embedded within that, that are to be noted. The guaranteed maximum price is a starting point. It's going to change. In fact, for anybody that bothers to read the contract, it actually says so in several places. It's going to go up, folks. Now, to the extent that it's delayed, here's where the Mortensen McCarthy people have to be, concerned, because they pay, I think, $5 million, is it, for every game that it's delayed or something like that. And I think it's $50,000 per day over a certain period if the stadium isn't opened on time. But that says nothing for cost overruns, right? That says nothing for cost overruns. But the way this is, okay, and Mortensen is very good generally at holding costs, but this thing, the shell started off at 3.25 million, then it crept up to 3.5 million. Now we're at 3.98 million. Excuse me. Just do that to me. Excuse me, folks. It started off at 3.25 billion. Then it went to 3.5 billion. Now it's up to 3.98 billion. All right. So just go north, baby. Or as the I'm gonna start calling him the Great One, as the Great One Don Webb said, because he's a funny guy when you listen to him speak. He's like, well, he's making fun of the phones. I have to explain this because it's hilarious. Okay. The stadium authority took an hour to get a quorum going, right? On the live stream, you can hear the phone going, and Bill Hornbuckles, you can hear him on the line. It's like, will someone turn out the fucking phones? And so anyway, so by the time Don Webb presents the stadium, he makes a joke about, well, at least the phones. He says some things are working unlike the phones. Ooh. And Stephen Hill says, that was mean. And then Webb says, well, considering what's happened over the past week, I think it's appropriate. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, what is he talking about here? See, if we had investigative journalists, someone would have found out what that was all about. But what we got is we have not that in Las Vegas, and the people are suffering for it. Really are. Crawford says, I lost count on the stadium cost, but it's going to be north. Let me make it easy. Okay, again, write this down. The guaranteed maximum price is I keep saying 3 billion. Stop doing that, Zenny. The guaranteed maximum price is 1,398,000,000 right now. Okay? All right? The cost for the stadium itself is estimated to be 1,620,000,000. Okay? The total stadium development budget is 1.8 billion. That still does not include parking. Now, within the itemized stadium costs that were listed, those itemized costs go back to the start of this year. Okay? And the reason why you do those costs isn't that you said, we got all of our bids in. Oh, no, folks. That's what they can spend. Now they're going to go out and they're going to keep getting more bids. And that thing is going to go up. You know why it's going to go up? In part because the Raiders set the doggone market so high. People are going to think they're washing money, and you're going to get bids that reflect that. You watch. Human beings, all right? What is that saying from Spider-Man? With great power comes great responsibility. Well, with a big budget comes big headaches. And those headaches add up to, I'm going to tell you, with stadiums, you know what those headaches add up to? Easy. They add up to cost overruns, delays, and lawsuits. Those are your headaches. And those headaches can come from any direction. And that is what you're looking at right now. This is a big freaking target. Okay? So John Marks writes, 1,398,000,000. That's the guaranteed maximum price, which will go up. All right? In fact, you might be saying, hey, welcome to Zinni 62. Why are you so cavalier about that? Well, did you realize that just today the Dow dropped 700 points because of the whole tariff situation? Do you realize that the guaranteed maximum price that I just quoted you, that's in the documents, guess what? It wasn't estimated with any regard for a tariff situation. Oh, gosh. Crawford says that moment was symbolic of the entire meeting. Yeah, it was. Oh, gosh. Talking about the delay to get a quorum and the phones ring and Bill Humbuckle basically losing his temper. I felt sorry for Stephen Hill. I mean, Stephen's the kind of guy who, he's cool, but you can tell by his body language that inside he's just burning up. I mean, in a movie, Stephen Hill would probably be Jason or Friday the 13th if he really got angry. I'm not kidding you, okay? I mean, because he's like, but it's like a mask. It's like almost like a hockey mask in a sense, because behind that he's like, dang it, get back here. He wants to do that, but he's just trying to be cool. It's hilarious, I mean, at one point, he paced around, came back, sat down, and he went, like that, and I thought, uh-oh, he's about that close to blowing a gasket. I mean, and he knows he's on camera, so he knows that how he behaves, so goes the stadium authority, right? He's not like Donald Trump, who probably just would blow a gasket. Sometimes you need to lose your temper with these things. Muhammad Ahmed says, a maximum guaranteed price requirement of the state law that authorizes a tax increase. What? Muhammad? Ugh, no. Muhammad, I'm going to try to tell you something, okay? And I want you to pay attention. Guaranteed maximum prices are standard fare in stadiums. Let's take Cobb County here as one example. The guaranteed maximum price was $375 million. Thereabout. No, 475 million. But the stadium development cost was $670 million. Okay? All the guaranteed maximum prices, I'm making it really simple. It's just building the shell. Okay, it's just like taking this, computer, and I'm saying I'm just going to develop the shell, right? Not the software and all that stuff, okay? It's just the shell. That's all it is. You don't have to make it so doggone complicated. There really isn't anything complicated about the different aspects of it. It's just the politics and putting it together and the size. It's what you're doing is you're building a cast of thousands to build something. Okay, that's where the complications come in, and the laws, and because you have a lot of people affected in many different ways. What I worry about with this stadium is the same thing that I talked about last night, and that's the impact of simple harmonic motion on the frame and the structure, and how that propagates through that to the ground, and how the ground responds to that, and whether or not it remains stable. That concerns me. Okay, that concerns me. And if someone needs to say, hey, look, have you tested that? And if so, what did it look like? But you have a stadium authority that just goes, see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Shut up, Zenny. Don't say anything. Okay. And what about overruns? The Raiders are supposed to handle the overruns that Sheldon Adelson said he was going to handle out of his pocket. Okay. But Muhammad says, so what if the price goes up? Again, and that's why it's important to read these doggone documents that people take the time to write. I hope Mark Arnold's watching right now, because he's going to say, right you are, Zinni. Read the doggone things. They take the time to put the links on them in the website. And it says right there in black and white, if you read it carefully, that the price, that this is subject to amendment. Amendment means change, and change always means going north. Up. Okay? Up, all right? That's what it means, okay? That's what it means, all right? So, okay? That's what it means. Period. That's what it means. Period. All right? So, that's exactly what it means. Oh, Crawford made this comment. He says, as Trump would say, the price is good. This price is going to be huge. Which John Davis said, Mark Davis must not have watched Spider-Man. Right. Right. So basically, that's what, and Steve Macy says, that's what I meant. Just ask, it's wrong. Thank you. No problem. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Steve Macy, being a great guy. Black Lion says, if Davis is bound to this deal, maybe he's looking for us to get him out of it and nothing else makes sense. I don't know how, in terms of that. Oh, Albert says plus relocation. Relocation is $370 million. The Raiders have to pay that over a 10-year period out of their already low net operating income. Okay. Which was, I believe, what, $41 million? Lowest of, no, $41 million or $16 million? $41 million, yeah. The Raiders have had, over the 21st century, the worst net operating income. Black Lion Supreme says it's been going up since day one. John Mark says, Mark Davis must learn more about Spider-Man. Oh, my gosh. The suites are exciting. The stadium concept's exciting. The layout's exciting. That whole deal about the roof and the heat, though, ooh. They're predicting, I think, 72 to 74 degrees plus or minus 6 degrees, which means it could go as high as 80 in there. So, okay, let's say his estimates often it gets up to 90. I mean, you're talking about Las Vegas, hot sun, right? And then you've got this glass roof. This isn't Minnesota. You got this glass roof. And you open the door to the north and hope that the air comes in. It's going to be desert air. You know, I'm just working this around in my brain, and I'm thinking, greenhouse effect. I'm thinking, stuffy air. I'm thinking, how are you going to circulate the air? Huh. Boy, oh boy. Boy, oh boy. And as we talked about before, the costs are through the roof. User Daddy says infrastructure, you mean interchange or intercharges. Infrastructure, interchanges, pedestrian bridges, not included in the 1.8 billion. Those costs will only go up to. That's right. And then remember, the Nevada Department of Transportation pegged the whole thing at 900 million. Someone said to me that it's like the boys. The boys are all the men that are working on this. Well, Jessica Colvin's the chief financial officer, I might add. But it's like the boys are doing this. The boys are going out and they're creating their toys. Okay. Well, yeah, but does that mean you have to let the boys be responsible at the taxpayers' expense? Well, Lonely on Top says Raiders don't belong in the desert. But I'll tell you that Torch Plaza, that's cool. That Torch Plaza is cool. All right. One other thing. Holy cow, is there a fault line that runs through that? No, wait a minute. I happen, let me see. Nevada fault line. Nevada fault lines map. Okay, Nevada fault lines map. I'm just wondering, okay? Map of earthquakes recorded near Reno. Or how about earthquake fault map, Las Vegas. Let's go for the jugular. Las Vegas. This was as of, get this folks, the date. 6th of October 2014. Weekend quake reveals new Southern Nevada fault line. That's according to KLAS TV. This is in Las Vegas now, all right? This is by Lauren Roizala. Sundays, this is Las Vegas. This is October 6th, 2014. Sunday's minor quake may have revealed a brand new fault line never before recognized in Nevada. The 3.6 magnitude quake hit southern Nevada just after 3 in the morning on Sunday. The quake's epicenter was 22 miles south of downtown Las Vegas, just outside Sloan. Many people have no idea that there are fault lines all over the Las Vegas Valley. I didn't either until now. Did you? Oh my God. That means you got to have a quake-safe building. There are 7 major fault lines running through the valley. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? Tweet this out, Barry Lee. Barry Lee is probably gone. Oh, shoot. Wow. Listen to this. Many people have no idea there are fault lines all over the Las Vegas Valley. You think I'm making this up? Let me show you something. Bam, right there, all right? Many people have no idea there are fault lines all over the Las Vegas Valley. There are 7 major fault lines running through the valley, but the latest quake surprised area scientists. What? They didn't know there could be a fault in that area, and teams could soon be sent out to study its impact on the valley. Now, is Crawford right? No, you can't make this stuff up. And John Marks is like shaking my head. Yeah. I mean, yeah. And this is, Tammy Yvonne says, I thought I was dreaming. I didn't get up or anything, but I felt something, and I was like, oh my gosh. Just hours after the earthquake, people were still reeling, but for scientists like geosciences professor Wanda Taylor, the earthquake is now an opportunity. Taylor is a geosciences researcher at UNLV. She said they never realized there may be a fault line outside of Sloan. The magnitude 3.6 is very useful to us because now it allows us the opportunity to go out and look at the location, study the location, if in fact there was an active fault. The UNLV may soon send teams of scientists out to the quake's epicenter looking for a break or charge in the landscape. If there is indeed a new fault line, that could reveal the potential for more earthquakes in the future. Any young fault that can have earthquakes on it are important for us to study so we can make our own, a better model of the potential seismic hazards for the valley. While this quake was relatively minor compared to the ones across the country, some were still a little jolting. It brought back some fear from those Southern California earthquakes, Henry Sullivan said. There were no major aftershocks. I hope it doesn't happen, but you never know. People were most likely to feel the earthquakes in parts of Henderson, Summerlin, and downtown Las Vegas. Wow. Now I'm going back to this link. It says where there's 7 major fault lines running through the valley. 7. Southern Nevada earthquake provides closer look at fault lines. This was October 5th, 2014. All right. And it says then its smallest 3.6 magnitude earthquake felt in Las Vegas. Okay. Scientists at the university went on to say they would never have expected any serious damage in a 3.6 magnitude earthquake. So it's a small earthquake, no one was hurt, not much damage if any, and so that gives us an opportunity to go study the fault. Yeah, but did anybody manage to tell the stadium developers for the Raiders? Jeez Louise. I'm looking for, this is a development, folks. Because now I'm wondering where those, faults are, right? And people also search for Las Vegas earthquake prediction. And then there's another page, earthquake information, Clark County. Can't make this stuff up, folks. Are you prepared? Nevada is earthquake country. That's what it says right here. Take a look. Nevada. Are you prepared? Nevada is earthquake country. I mean, look, I know that the Bay Area is earthquake country. And you basically assume that when you build a stadium in the Bay Area, like Levi Stadium, for example, or Chase Arena for the Warriors, that it's quake safe. But this never came up in the discussion of the Raiders stadium with respect to it being quake safe. Okay? And it's already at what? Almost $2 billion in terms of total development costs, not including, parking and everything else. The state of Nevada is located in earthquake country. It lies within the Basin and Range Province, one of the most seismically active regions in the United States. Along with California and Alaska, Nevada ranks in the top 3 states subject to the most large earthquakes in the last 150 years. Magnitude 3 and 4 earthquakes are commonly felt, but rarely cause damage. See, the difference between the Raiders Stadium and the LA Stadium is the LA Stadium benefits from earth-sheltered design. And so the earth quite literally, acts as a nice absorber of earthquakes for it. It's one with the ground. The Raiders Stadium is above ground. Okay. It says magnitude 3 or 4 earthquakes are commonly felt but rarely cause damage. Minor to moderate damage can accompany a magnitude 5 or 6. You know that, okay? Frequently asked questions about earthquakes in Nevada. Seismic site class map on Open Web. Let's see here, because I'm curious as to where these fault lines are, right? The easiest way to find that is just basically to type, I guess, earthquake fault line, Las Vegas Strip. Okay, let's see what we get. And here's a question Las Vegas Sun posted on October 3rd, 2012. What would happen if earthquake strikes Las Vegas? And it says that high rises around town along the strip are built to withstand heavy shaking and are expected to come tumbling down. Nevada is crisscrossed by fault lines. But is that true for the Raiders Stadium? Then this other one says, believe it. There are many earthquake faults in Las Vegas. And it says earthquake faults are a part of Nevada's history, but many locals don't know about this one. The truth is there are fault lines all over the state. As a relatively new city, many of Las Vegas buildings, particularly on the Strip, are built to withstand a significant amount of force. But is that true for the Raiders Stadium? Is it built to withstand a significant amount of force? That's the question. Okay? That's the question. There are 1,500 faults in Nevada, which is why Nevada is listed here as the third most seismically active region in the United States. The last major earthquake happened in Nevada in 1954 when a 7 on the Richter scale hit Churchill County. The truth is there are fault lines all over the state. Other than the heat, I think Nevada is a prime place to live, said Las Vegas resident Mike Sundberg. It's actually pretty quiet, you know. Sundberg does not know is that there's a 13.5 mile fracture in the Earth's crust running through his Las Vegas neighborhood. This is part of the Decatur Fault. That escarpment is, what the heck is this? Wow. It's called the Decatur Fault. See, now, this is something. I mean, this is something. Do the Raiders have earthquake insurance? The Decatur Fault. Does your Las Vegas home sit on a national disaster? And this is February as of 2017. It's on Decatur from Hacienda to the 95. And let's see here. The Decatur Fault. Let me go back here. Well, it's 1:34. I gotta get ready to think about bowing out. Let's see here. Decatur Fault. Geocaching. That's not it. What is this? Las Vegas area faults. I found a map. I found a decent map, folks. Hold on a second. Visit. Oh boy, it won't give me as usual, it won't give me the page, okay? Let me see here. There's one. Let me see if there's another size. A bigger one. Maybe a bigger one. No. Let me try something here. All right. I found the map. This is what I found, okay? I've got to zoom in on it because this won't let me look here. This is what I found, okay? So if we take a look here, it's hard to, okay, here you got, all right, here we go. There's McCarran Airport, right? That's McCarran Airport. So across the McCarran, oh, you know what? Look, I need a pin. There's a pin right here, okay? This is McCarran Airport right here, right? Okay. So that's McCarran. So basically, this is the freeway. See that, right? Look closer here. That's Las Vegas. All right. We have a freeway there. Look at this. This is the closest fault line right here. This fault line is the closest one to the Raiders Stadium. This is not far away. Look at that. You got one fault here. There's the airport. So basically this fault line, and it looks like it stops here. I wish I could enlarge this. This is the closest one to the stadium. The stadium is like right about there, all right? So basically the stadium is either, well, it's near a fault. It's near that fault. That's like, what, a half a mile away? Ugh. I gotta find a bigger, wow. I gotta find a bigger part of that map. Let me see something here. Geologists urge to speed up Look, collection of fault data. Not false. Fault data. Yeah. Geologists urge to speed up collection of fault data. Everyone's asked, wow. I'm scrolling down here. I'm trying to find a bigger version of that map. I think the only other way to do it. Oh, this is too. I'm going to do it that way. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll down. This is bad, folks. This is bad, folks. Wow, this is bad, folks. Yeah, this is bad. Okay. It's a Getty image. What is this? That's another one from the Review Journal. It's another version of it. And yeah, that's another one. Oh, I got an idea. I'll go to Bing. I'll go to Bing, and Bing allows me to enlarge. Bing allows me to enlarge photos in a way that Google used to, but does not. Okay. Decatur fault. Does your Las Vegas home sit on a Decatur fault? Ooh. Okay, now click on that. More. View image. Okay, now can I make the image bigger? Can I say zoom in? Yeah, I can zoom in. Okay, so I can zoom in here. I'm zooming in. This is what I'm doing, folks. Watch. All right, I'm going up here. I'm zooming in and zooming in. All right, so it's called Valley View Fault. All right, there's McCarran Airport right there. Okay. This is I-15. Ooh, shit. Freaking A. I-15 is... All right, this is I-15. There's the airport, right? This is Las Vegas Boulevard right here. That's the strip. So that's Las Vegas Boulevard. There's McCarran Airport. All right. There's I-15 right there. And then there's Hacienda, and then there's Russell Road. So there's Russell Road and I-15. There's the stadium, and there are two fault lines. Holy fuck. This is the Decatur right here, and this is Valley View. So both of them, the stadium, holy the stadium is tandem, two faults. Valley View and Decatur, right there. You see that? Yeah! I mean, are you kidding me? Are you freaking kidding me? No, I mean, oh my goodness. You've got a stadium that, first of all, it's smack in the middle of a 100-year flood zone. And it now is basically playing kissing cousin with two earthquake faults, the closest one being the Decatur fault that was responsible for a 3.6 on the Richter scale earthquake. Now, you know, all they're going to say is, oh yeah, we were aware of it. The question isn't whether you were aware of it. The question is, did you appropriately design the stadium and test for an earthquake of 3.6 or larger? And if so, what was the outcome? And by the way, is there any insurance, is there any documentation in any of the agreements that deals with an earthquake? Hasn't come up. Wow. Richard Lucero says one fault leads to another fault, and that's Mark Davis' fault. Oh my gosh. Black Lion Supreme. Mark Davis is the Benny Hill of NFL. I can't make Mark. I can't make fun of Mark because Mark is poor man. He's just trying to get the best for himself and his family. You can't begrudge that anybody. But geez, man, just stay in Oakland. We got earthquakes. We got experts to deal. We have experts. We have Jed York, who's in a stadium that's already handled what 4 in the Richter scale earthquakes, 4.9, right? Okay, Levi Stadium is standing. Well, what happened in Vegas? Wow, I just wow. Oh, hey, thanks for the John Davis who said hold control and scroll up to enlarge. Yeah, I did the other thing. Thanks. Uh, you saw though, right? 32 assassin. Maybe Quakes can break up the caliche. Ooh. Ooh. Aaron Miles says that spring weather makes you want to go sleepy. Yeah. And Joseph Business says during some of your recent Vegas trips, Zinni, wasn't there bad flooding? Yeah. Doesn't Vegas have a flooding issue too? Yeah, it's a 100-year flood zone, which means that it doesn't rain a lot, but when it does, well, Katie bar the door. Okay. And I remember Don Webb made I thought it was a really funny comment. He was talking about the stadium design of that crosshatch, and he said it's I'm paraphrasing, clever way of draining the water down from the roof to the ground. I'm thinking, oh yeah, well, how much are you going to be dumping on the ground from the water when you do that? Hello? And then, when it rains, hello? Can it already handle that? Hello? Just asking, all right? Wow. What? Wow. Earthquake fault lines. Boy, oh boy. All right, folks, it's 1:44. It's 1:44. I think this has been a very informative and entertaining evening. What do you think? Wow. So, for those of you who think that the guaranteed maximum price is not going up, I think you've now seen the new reason why it is. Or as John Marks would say, you bet your last money it's all going to be a stone gas, honey. Well, actually, it was Don Cornelius that said that. Oh, boy. Watch horror films. Keep America strong. John Marks. Hey, tomorrow is WonderCon. Ooh. Hey. See everybody later. Good night. Thank you for tuning in. Hey. Great numbers tonight. Thank you. Thank you all. As Crawford writes, instead of writing to the salt lines, he writes to the fault lines. Dilly dilly. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. You're watching this. You're involved in the stadium project. Hey, topics coming up. The fault lines. What do you know? Is this thing ready to handle earthquake? Did you know that the stadium was this close to 2 fault lines? Just asking. If you think about it, the stadium is actually closer to the fault lines than the number of buildings on the strip, because the Decatur is over here, right? And you've got I-15, you've got Las Vegas Boulevard, and it kind of cants off in that direction. You have the Decatur and the Valley Fault, and the stadium is about, a mile south of the Valley Fault, and Decatur is just kind of like, up the block. Woo! Jeez Louise. Black Lion says floods, earthquakes, and sandstorms. Oh my. Black Lion, floods, earthquakes, sandstorms. Oh my. Cha-ching. Oh, and he says, and don't forget, Crawford says, don't forget strippers. Oh, come on. Hey, you gotta like Stormy. Okay, all right. Wow. Good night, everybody. I'll see ya soon. See ya. All right. Thank you all. God bless everybody. Wow. All right. See you later. Good night. God bless you too, John Marks. Thank you.